For hundreds of years, the Inuit Indians have lived in the upper reaches of North America. This part of the world is really cold. It's too cold to grow fruits and vegetables, and it's pretty hard for a cow to graze on the ice. So the staple of the diet for these Indians is fish, specifically fish with natural fat, so as to allow them to live in this extremely cold water. These fatty fish are known as oily fish. Because oily fish are high in fat, you would expect that anyone eating them as a main source of food would be prone to developing the health problems associated with high-fat diets, particularly heart and artery problems. This is what a group of Danish researchers intended to prove in the 1970s. Now, these aren't people who research donuts, although that could be scary too. These are scientists that felt certain that a diet high in oily fish would absolutely lead to an avalanche of coronary problems in any population. When they studied these Indians, they were shocked to find the exact opposite. They discovered a population of people who ate mainly oily fish and had no, that's N-O, artery problems and had incredibly strong hearts. Just another thought, there probably weren't any pharmacies or health spas nearby either. So what we've got here is a fish story. Not your run-of-the-mill fish story, because this one happens to be true. The information you'll hear in the next few minutes has been taken in snippets from some of the most reputable scientific and medical sources in the world. I'm only allowed to give you a tiny bit of the reality of this information in this program. If you want to delve deeper than what I give you here, go to the following websites: Mayo Clinic, American Heart Association, Harvard School of Public Health, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, or you can Google to get the truckload of worldwide university research. So, why should this information matter to you? Because if you can hear this, you obviously have a heart. Period. Okay. So, what's up with the oily fish that they help the heart? And by the way, it's not just these Indians. Populations in general who eat more fish have less heart issues. For example, in Japan, the population eats a higher percentage of fish than all the other Western countries. And the occurrence of heart problems is less. Now, what came out of the original Danish research was an explosion of more research. And over the last 30 years, everybody is trying to discover what caused these fish to impact the heart in such a positive way. The answer is something called omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s are considered essential nutrients. An essential nutrient is one that the body needs to function properly, but must be obtained from outside sources, like foods. The two types of omega-3s that the body needs, and I'm giving the abbreviated names because the real names are really long and really hard to say, they are EPA and DHA. Omega-3s are one of the best things that you can put in your body to promote a healthy heart. And as a bonus, they seem to support health in a bunch of other areas as well. British health agencies prescribe 1 gram a day for anyone who has had a heart attack. In Italy, every heart attack victim leaves the hospital with a prescription for fish oil. Multiple randomized controlled trials report improvements in morning stiffness and joint tenderness with regular intake of fish oil supplements for up to 3 months. Omega-3s help nerve cells communicate with each other, which is vital for good mental health. As I said before, you can see all kinds of studies and information about omega-3s with just a few clicks of your mouse. There's a vast pool of research that screams that everyone, for a variety of reasons, should be getting at least 1 gram, and in some cases more, of omega-3s every day. So, should everyone rush out and buy a freezer full of fish? Well, that certainly is one way to approach it, although that can be pretty expensive, and there may be some people who absolutely should not do that because of what is contained in the meat of many fish. What does seem to be clear is that most people would be wise to consume at least 1 gram of high-quality omega-3s every day. How you do that, well, that's up to you. The Japanese, by the way, consume what amounts to 2.5 grams of fish oil a day. It's also important to note that fish oil is not all omega-3s, but contains omega-3s. So 1 gram of fish oil is not 1 gram of omega-3s. The U.S. FDA classifies intake of 3 grams of omega-3s per day as safe for everyone, unless it is purely from eating fish. Young children and pregnant or breastfeeding women need to be careful of eating too much fish because of the potential contaminants like dioxins, PCBs, and mercury that can be found in fish. Maybe it's me because I'm not very young and I'm definitely not breastfeeding or pregnant, but I'm not crazy about dining on PCBs either. High-grade supplements contain none of these contaminants because the toxins are found in the meat of fish and the supplements come from the oil. The oil is also then put through an additional purifying process. The American Heart Association recommends the following oily fish: anchovies, bluefish, carp, catfish, halibut, herring, lake trout, mackerel, pompano, salmon, striped sea bass, albacore, and whitefish. To get the equivalent of 1 gram a day, you'd have to eat fish about 4 times per week. Now, I'm a fish lover, but given the state of the environment, I think I'd prefer to ensure my omega-3 intake through a high-grade supplement from Life Plus. Then I eat fish whenever the mood strikes me. Just to cover all the bases, if you're taking blood thinners, you might want to check with your physician before adding omega-3s to your diet. There are no other glaring reasons not to take them. So do your heart and body a favor and take your gram a day.